What is up, everybody? Happy Friday, your favorite day of the week. Why? Well, you get to come watch us again. And no, Gabby didn't get a makeover. As you see here, we have a couple of my 233 brethren, Brian and Amy. Welcoming back to the show. I know you've already met Amy. First time with Brian on the show. Thanks for joining, by the way. Appreciate you guys being on. So, we'll kind of just jump right on in. It's been a hectic week in Charlotte, I would say, for the squad. Obviously, coming off of the League's Cup. Well, still one more game to go, but we'll for all intents and purposes, the League's Cup is pretty much done with at this point, right? Kind of a disappointment, right, for Charlotte overall. Just to kind of quickly recap, again, I'm not going to go into all the games. Just seems like a little bit unnecessary. We'll keep it to the MLS side of things, but for the League's Cup, first game of the tournament for us was against Juárez, 4-1 loss. I mean, that was by far the worst performance of the season. I think we can all agree with that. I mean, super disappointing. And then that was, of course, followed up by a loss in PKs to Chivas. Much better game overall. Obviously competitive, 2-2 in the regulation, losing the PKs. The most disappointing part of that one being that Chivas kind of just took over the stadium. Granted, they were pretty nice fans, right? I mean, I think most of them were probably double agents, also Charlotte fans. So it wasn't like a bad situation in the stands or anything, but just kind of stinks, demoralizes you to kind of see all that in the stands. But it is what it is. And obviously, the worst news, more on this later, but Pep Biel's injury that also occurred in this. So 2 games in, already out of the tournament, Pep Biel gets injured. Not a lot great, but I challenged you guys there's got to be some positives, right? So I'll turn it over to you guys now. Give me one good positive and just one negative from the tournament as far as we got. So I guess, Brian, start with you.
Yeah, so I think I'll start with a negative so I can end on a higher note.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
So I think the negative is that it just doesn't seem like Charlotte FC takes this tournament very seriously.
Fair.
The players don't seem to care. The fans don't seem to care. So I think it's a little bit of a disappointing performance, obviously, and disappointing atmosphere at the stadium.
Mm-hmm.
So that I think that's probably the biggest negative. The positive is that it is really cool to see big Mexican League teams come to Charlotte.
I agree.
I've never had the opportunity, and probably wouldn't other than this tournament to see like a team like Chivas or Monterrey. So that was really cool. It also, I think, exposes Mexican fans in Charlotte to Charlotte FC. So I think that's a positive. And like you said, one of the guys behind us was telling me he's normally a Charlotte FC fan.
Yeah, I talked to him.
But he's a Chivas fan for that game, and we'll go back to a Charlotte FC fan. So I felt like that's pretty cool, and also an opportunity to grow the fan base in Charlotte.
Okay, yeah, I got you. What about you, Amy? Sorry about the mic pass, by the way. It's just budget is for 2 right now. I get a few more followers, I'll get a 3rd mic, guys. So just keep that in mind. But anyway,
I'll start with my negative as well. I just think it just kind of was like blah. Like the fan attendance was blah. The whole vibe was off. I guess because it was League's Cup, even though they were home matches, they didn't really feel like home matches because we didn't do the normal stuff.
Didn't get to sing.
That just seemed like it just started the whole tournament off poorly for us. And I think, on top of that, I just think it just didn't feel right. And I think it didn't feel right for the fans. It didn't feel right for the players. It just seemed like the whole thing was just off.
Yeah.
My positive is that it has afforded some guys to get some playing time, and so as to see some of these guys, I wish we would have maybe seen a little more of them. Maybe I hope that tomorrow night we'll see.
I'm sure we have to see some more tomorrow night.
Some other players, but I was really excited. I mean, Vargas's goal to take us to PKs, that was pretty stellar. That was a definite positive. And I think he's kind of on the up and up. I felt like Abada did better also the second game against Chivas, so maybe he will get some momentum. So those would be my positives.
Okay.
But overall, League's Cup, until we get around behind it, I just think it's going to be a tournament that
Sure.
Just fair.
I got you. And I'll talk more about kind of what we think for the future of Leagues Cup here in a second. I'll quickly join in on the negatives and positives, right? I mean, unfortunately, there's a lot more negatives to take from this than positives, and I think most fans' perspective. But again, just to kind of keep it to one, and I think we've already touched on it, but it is, in my opinion, the lack of gumption, right, behind the tournament, right? I mean, I was excited. I know we were excited. We, obviously in the MLS coming off 4 straight victories. I mean, our vibes were way up there going into there. And it seemed like the minute we got to the stadium against Juárez and the lady starts singing the entire national anthem, we don't get to do that. Right from that moment, it was like, this is different. And then once they kicked the ball off, okay, this is really different, right? And it just, I mean, it didn't feel like they took it seriously. And I know we all did. And so it just kind of, that was very disappointing, right? And that was really more toward the Juárez game than the Chivas game. Again, I think we were definitely outclassed by Chivas in that second half, but they at least showed up in fault. That was kind of the calling card that we've seen from Charlotte, got to know from Charlotte that we just did not see from Juárez. So I guess that was good. My positive, even though this is going to be a little bit outside the box, but I think my positive that we can take from the tournament is that we actually did learn that Toffolo should be our starter at striker. I think that we learned that just through the 2 games that we saw. Obviously, his play in the tournament maybe left a little to be desired with the red card that he got, and a completely needless red card, right? But then that led to Zaha having to be, striker. We see him at striker. I've been kind of, pushing that narrative for most of the season, like, hey, let's see him centrally. And not that he was necessarily bad. It could have been the service. It could have been a couple of things. But in my opinion, the balls they were playing to him, those kind of high balls where he needs to chest it down, he didn't know the link up play quite as well. And to me, it just signified more like we need a player that can, kind of get back, touch it on defense a little bit, but then, make the moves forward, get it off the chest. Somebody like Toffolo, we already have him. And he, of course, scored a goal in the one game that he did play as well, which I think brings his total to like 5-8 or 6-9. I mean, it's a very good record. And so, again, we'll get into more of the rumors with the transfers here in a little bit, but obviously we've been so gung-ho on a striker, and not saying that we don't maybe need to add to that position, but I think we have our striker in Toffolo. And I am even more so convinced after the tournament, just watching somebody like Zaha in that position. And again, it's not to knock Zaha, he's a great player, but he is at his best, in my opinion, playing on the wing, ball at his feet, go cook him, right? That's the way that he needs to be playing, not necessarily chesting it down and trying to, connect to teammates as much. I think he's more of a keep the ball at my feet and then I'm going to go make the pass or make the shot. So,
yeah, I would also like to mention that maybe one of the positives out of this will be that Burns getting a lot of playing time.
Yeah,
and we'll get match fit for when the league
100%.
Back in.
Yeah,
so, that could be big for us in the future.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, him having to miss 6, 7, 8 weeks, however long it was quite a bit. So he got to come into, we'll, at this point, just call it kind of like a preseason friendly, right? Where and then I'm sure he'll probably play a good amount tomorrow as well, and so hopefully he kind of gets his feet back wet, and to that point, some of these other younger players get a chance to be in the first team, I think, as well. So that'll be cool. Really quickly moving into Leagues Cup 2026, like what? And again, kind of keep it short. Like maybe one change that you would want to see. Is it just mindset from the team, or is it format from the league? Like, is there one change that you could make, or one thing that you would want to see, or how would you want to treat maybe the Leagues Cup next year? And I guess, Amy, if you want to lead this one.
I would change the format. I think they did better this year, but I think just having 4 MLS teams and 4 Mexican League teams come out of a
18, 36 teams, total, yeah.
Like, that's like crazy. So I think maybe 8-8, and then just, I mean, you're like the Sweet 16 for Final Four. Like, so, and it would only be 1 extra game for them. Mm-hmm. And maybe next year, if like vets aren't gonna, like, first team's not gonna go at it, then let's let some younger players give their shot and get their time on the pitch.
Fair, no, 100.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm at with Charlotte FC and the Leagues Cup. But I'd like them to pick a path, either play the kids, the backups, or go for the trophy. Personally, I'd like to see them go for the trophy, but I do think it exposes our depth a little bit, that we haven't been able to kind of match some of those other elite MLS teams a rotation of the players.
Exactly.
It will be interesting to see what they do next year with the World Cup happening, how the format will change.
Yeah. You forget about the World. Well, don't forget about the World Cup, but obviously adding that in, that's a whole nother, wrinkle to next season's, already busy schedule. Yeah, I'm kind of, same boat as you guys. I thought that only 8 teams out of 36 making it through. I mean, I knew when I think I was texting you guys even, I was like, dude, I don't think anything less than 7 or 8 points gets through anyway. So after we had already lost the first game, I was already kind of like, we're done, and so I think my change, if not that, I like the fact that they were able to incorporate playing the Mexican League teams, because the first couple iterations of this I think we played like 2 MLS sides and 1 Mexican League side, and we were like, okay, well, that didn't feel any different than the MLS. So it's cool that we got to play the MLS sides. I like the way they made that format, but yeah, why not at least have 16 teams make it? And then, I think, in my opinion, yes, expectations should be to go for the cup, but I think they can go for the cup with at least starting, not the Crown Legacy team necessarily, but let's call it like the B+ team or A- team. Get that first game out. Hey, if you do well, then we can bring in the the Zahas and the Biels of the world in game 2 or 3, right? But almost started out, treat it seriously, and I think the younger players would, not that the older players can't, but I just think that difference in competition, they're maybe like, we don't care as much. But you bring a Crown Legacy player in, they're going to be going 110%. Maybe they don't have the quality, but hey, maybe all you need is that 110% to get you through that first game, and then kind of see where it goes from there. So
yeah, I think the tournament format was better this year.
Yeah,
at least the league didn't stop for a month. For this tournament to take place. So hopefully it'll be better in the future. Disappointed in the results though this year.
I think we can all agree with that. Yeah, it didn't take long to realize that this was not going to be as exciting as we built it up to be. We just hope that this doesn't slow the momentum from the MLS season down, right? I think that's the biggest thing that we're hoping moving forward. So anything else to add, guys? Are we all? Yep. So we're all on board. Leagues Cup, boo this year, but hey, maybe better next year. All right, and transitioning right over into the news for the week. Obviously, the big news, talked about it a little bit ago, very disappointing, but during the game against Chivas, Pep Biel goes down. Obviously looked bad, and it's not great. Out 4 to 6 weeks. Much better than some of us were thinking. I was really, really worried about an ACL there, but it is a hamstring, not just a hamstring. That's a very big deal to worry about, right? But they're saying 4 to 6 weeks, obviously, for Biel. Obviously, he's our best player, right? I don't need to go and tell everybody that. I've been saying that on this show all year long. Very important to what we do as a team. So, not much more. They just have more scans to follow, so I don't know if that means there's still going to be a second evaluation there, and that means he can come back sooner or later, any of that. I'm just going to go with the assumption that it's going to be around 4 to 6 weeks for now. So, guys, does that make the season over, or do we need to change something about the play style? How does this affect our team moving forward, right? I guess would be my question.
Yes, I don't think the season is over, but I think our hopes for top 4 are clearly gone. I honestly had given up top 4.
I still was holding in a little bit, but yeah, especially the way they played. But okay.
Yeah, so I think the approach should be let's get Pep healthy. Let's start building towards the playoffs. There's plenty of time for him to reintegrate into the playoffs as long as he doesn't have a setback.
I did have to go look at the season and count the weeks. I was like, damn, we still got a little while left. Yeah. So it's not like, okay, this is going all the way to the end of the season. So your thought, just kind of, hey, Pep, do your thing, get healthy, but let's bearing down the hatchets and keep it going. Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, I think we have the template of how the style of play that we're going to move to. I think Brandt's going to go back to the 10 like we did at the end of the last year.
Okay.
So he'll push forward and we'll play that double pivot in the back. Probably my guess is Westwood and Gianni. So we become a little bit more defensive. We got Byrne coming back. We got Toffolo, which I know we're going to talk about in a little bit.
Yeah, that's exciting.
So I would anticipate we'll go more defensive and rely on our DP striker or our DP winger, Zaha, Pep Biel, or excuse me, not Pep Biel, but
we wish.
Yeah, Zaha, Topomati, and Vargas to do the goal scoring for us.
Okay.
I do not think our season's over because that would just be very sad.
Well, thank goodness, yeah, because I was a little, I was in my emotions putting this together. So
I think for me, I don't know what you would call it, but I see Zaha playing more of a 10 or like Zaha, Brandt, Eric. I like Eric Williamson better than Diani. I just think he's better on the ball. I mean, Diani's a great player, but he's still young and trying to figure out things. But
I think he's still more defensive comparatively to like Eric Williamson. He can push box to box a little better.
I like Eric. I like how he distributes the ball. I like his offensive mindset. So I kind of see, I guess maybe it would be like a double pivot with like Zaha and Williamson, kind of like an offensive midfield type mindset. And then you have Brandt like a diamond, and then Brandt and Westwood kind of playing your pivot, your 6 pivot as a defensive. And then you have your Vargas and Abada, or Vargas and Tokomati, or I don't know. I just think we can do some clever things with Zaha and Eric Williamson in there. And I feel like they, because of their age, nothing against the younger guys, but I just think they can see each other's play maybe a little better and get us into some things. I do not think we should play like box it in and work, like rely on our defense. It's not there this year.
Sure.
So I think we need to like go for scoring goals. If we're not scoring goals, we're going to give up the goals, so that's going to be problematic.
I actually like that. I didn't really, I guess I did talk about Zaha moving inside, but not necessarily for this segment, but I think that's actually good because when I was going through it yesterday and putting my positive together and saying all that kind of somewhat negative stuff about him being striker, the one thing I did think was maybe he would be ideal as kind of a second striker just underneath, because then the ball is more at his feet and he can turn and make the passes. So I think that's a great idea, honestly, kind of moving him inside but almost underneath Tokomati. Let Tokomati continue to cook up top and then bring Zaha underneath. I don't mind that. And I'm kind of with you on Williamson. I am a fan of his. He does seem to be a little bit more erratic in my opinion, because some of the games I'm like, what the hell? But then most of the time he's in there, I'm like, okay, this is good. Like we can work with this. So I do think he may be first choice there, especially if they're looking to replace Biel. He is a lot more like Biel. Again, I don't want to try to compare Williamson to Biel, but at the same time, when we talk offensive players, I think you would prefer him to a Gianni, perhaps. I was still more on the Gianni side for this. I do think I like the way that he can. When he's good, he's able to turn and find the pass. Obviously, he's taller than everybody else out there, and so I think he can really see the passes down the field. I think the way I kind of spun it is we do need to be a little bit more of the 2024 version. I'm not saying all defense, right? But I think clean sheets and 1 goals become very much more important. And I think more long balls, which I'll even talk more about that in the preview down the road here. But I do think more 30-yard passes from Malanda, Tim Ream, Gianni, these players, instead of working it up to the midfield. Almost we need to bypass the midfield and get it up to a Vargas, get it up to a Tokomati a little bit quicker, and see if they can move a little bit more in transition that way, or that was kind of my thought there.
I think even Big Bill's kind of put his name out there for the defense. Yeah. And he's distributed the ball nicely.
Very well.
So really well. And he actually gives us some height, and he's scoring on the corner kick. So
maybe, yeah.
I think that could be something that plays into our back line until we figure out what's happening with our newbie guy.
Elephant in the room, though, Pep Biel contract. He's obviously injured. Does this in any sort of way affect what could happen in the offseason? I don't think it should, right? But at the same time, could we see something like that? No?
I don't think so. He's been our best player. He has over 20 goal contributions already.
Crazy.
I don't think this impacts it at all.
Okay, good. Yeah, I wasn't sure. And obviously writing this, I was also at the point where maybe he's not playing the rest of the season. And if that's the case, that definitely, makes it a little bit more tricky. But what this guy has done for the team, obviously come in and instantly been our best player. I think he still needs a big fat contract waiting on him at the end of the season, and he becomes that other DP, and this has no bearing on that.
Sure. So I don't think it has any bearing on it either, and I think there's a huge difference between a hamstring injury and like an ACL.
Right.
So I think if it was a knee injury, maybe the conversation changes slightly. But with it just being a hamstring injury, we would be silly to let him walk. And it seems like he wants to be here. So let's make it happen.
100%. So there you have it. It is sad right now, Charlotte, but he is going to play again this season. We hope, we think, and he is going to get a contract next season. So, hey, we're still playing for the top, maybe not 4 anymore, but maybe top 6, 7, right? And just get into that playoff mix, bring him back, and then we'll see what happens from there. Talking of new players, though, so yeah, I think you just alluded to it a bit. Charlotte does finally make a splash in the transfer window. We have signed left back Harry Toffolo. Harry Toffolo, yeah. You say what?
So thank God we made a left back.
Bad. Like this is a very good signing for Charlotte, by the way. It's a position of need. It's a 3-year deal. Somebody put no effing loan there, right? But I don't know who did that. But anyway, yeah. Obviously, we're known as Loan FC to some people, and so we have a lot of loan players. He is not. He is on a 3-year deal. Still only 29 years old, which is, I mean, that's an age that he's got some, not necessarily, he's probably peaked, right? But he's still at that level and can be at that level. And this is a Premier League player, guys, right? He is coming straight from Nottingham Forest. Actually was teammates with Nathan Byrne at Swindon Town. He was on loan out there for a while, so I don't know if that had any sort of bearing on him coming here or not. But yeah, it was great deal. I mean, he's worth $3 million on the transfer market. I don't know what that necessarily, equates to, but when I'm looking at most of the players we've been scouting, we're usually around the 1 to 1.5 mil players, and so to see him worth 3 and knowing he's coming straight from a Premier League squad, that alone is exciting, right? And so, what do you guys think about the signing, and how do you think? I mean, instant impact, or is it going to take a little bit of time?
I think instant impact. I mean, you're coming from the EPL. You've played with Byrne. Yep. I mean, I don't know how long ago, but I definitely think they'll be. And I feel like Byrne's really good at getting these guys here. Like, if he has a connection to them in England, between him and Westy, they're like, Charlotte, it's like a sunny version of England or something.
And then he gets here and it rains every day.
Right. So I'm really excited. I love that he's 29 because I'm actually kind of surprised we got someone from the EPL under 30, actually, because it seems like most of our EPL players are coming at us at 34, 35.
Correct.
So I'm excited to see what he does for us. I mean, we definitely need it. So
I think he plays on Sunday.
And they're not huge, so.
Yeah,
I agree. Great signing, position of need. He spent most of his time in the championship.
Right,
But spent the last 3 years, I think, at Nottingham Forest. And I mean, if he's got Premier League pedigree, he's going to be good. I found it interesting that the content team for Charlotte FC primarily showed his goal contributions.
Yeah,
I want to know if this guy can defend.
Right. I thought the same thing. Honestly, I was like, I'm glad he can score, but we got goal scorers on the team. We need somebody that can play defense and then get it forward. So.
I think it fits Dean's style, though. He likes those wing backs, and
yes.
I mean, I think Marshall Ruddy's been trying to do that. He's inexperienced. And maybe a good opportunity for him to learn under Toffolo if we keep.
And it lets him go back to the natural right potentially as well. Obviously, he's a right-footed player that can go either way, left or right. But I think he's probably better suited to play on the right. Obviously, that is where Byrne plays too. But it just gives you a little bit of depth there. And yeah, I mean, again, this is just a solid player, right? I think he'll come in and can instantly contribute to the team. We saw Doumbia kind of do the same thing until he started to get his injury bug going, right? And to me, this player can do anything that he did, right? I mean, he, with the pedigree that he's got, and yeah, he can get going forward. So I really anticipate seeing him, up high on the left side over there for Ream and Melanda to hopefully hit him on some of those longer balls, and then you got Zaha coming in, and yeah, that's the whole play there.
I hope this officially ends the Tim Ream at left back.
Yeah, it's got to, right? I mean, yeah, Ream has been a stalwart since coming back from the national team at that left center back, right? I mean, I think we can all agree, maybe not. Yeah, I know you're Privet guys, but I think that Ream has been, he's been the better player over the last, and deserves that spot, and that's where he plays anyway, right? He should have never been brought to be a left back, and so.
Well, we need 3 quality center backs for
rotation.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Who knows what's going to happen with Melanda
in the offseason, exactly. So I agree. So this is just a very good signing. I think we can all agree. I think everybody in Charlotte land agrees that this is a very good signing. So congrats on that. And then kind of to further that point, so not that this is by the way probably 0.01 chance. So this is a little bit of a speculation, but Dean Smith did speak on it yesterday. So worth mentioning the name Jack Grealish, which if you guys are not familiar, I mean this is a top-notch player. Plays for Manchester City. He's won 50 million trophies for that team. Obviously played under Dean Smith at Aston Villa. He considers Dean Smith a second father. I've seen that kind of on record. Obviously, the news that he had said yesterday, he kind of has some unfinished business in the Premier League still. I don't know what's unfinished when you have 20 trophies or however many he has. It seems like he's won them all to me. But if Charlotte could get this type of player, and I think I saw another thing today actually about if Manchester City was to go ahead and release him, they would want him on loan. I was like, hey, we're Loan City over here, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, what are you guys?
I saw reports today that he might be loaned to Everton, but they said the deal was complicated. So who knows? Maybe there's a chance.
Yeah, I doubt it. I really put that in there. I would love to see it. We would all. I mean, you talk about a replacement for Pep Biel. My gosh, that would be quite the replacement over the next 6 weeks for somebody like that. But it is a pipe dream, right? Let's be a little bit realistic. Well, if it's not going to be Jack Grealish, that's kind of a pipe dream, which we all kind of assume it is. Who is a player or what is a position that you think Charlotte should go ahead and look to make an impact on here in this transfer window?
Yeah, I think it's probably a couple, two years early for Jack Grealish, unfortunately.
I think so too. Yeah.
I would love for us to sign a high quality number 8.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you.
Box to box midfielder. I can just imagine a Pep Biel, Westwood, and the player that I would love to see that is available is Christian Eriksen.
Oh yeah.
Manchester United.
There's a name. Yeah. All right.
Number 8, he's available. Might be a stretch for us to get, but he's listed at $8 million on transfer market, so it would be certainly a DP position. But
Grealish is at 30 mil, so
right,
yeah. I mean,
maybe more reasonably, and he's about the age that I think. He's like 33, I think.
Yeah,
like
that's huge.
Somebody that can really boss the midfield, distribute the ball, but also defend. So I'd love to see that. That's signing.
Love that. Okay. Anybody for you, or at least position?
I don't have a player. I mean, the player I would say is that we need someone like a McAllister from Liverpool. He's like a number 8. I mean, the same sort of thing. He can put the ball in the back of the net, but he's going to be everywhere he needs to be. I do think a good number 8 is something to look at. I also am a big fan of Bouanga. I mean, I know he's not available, but like if we have someone like him, like on Charlotte FC, I don't know where that person is out there in the soccer world or the football world, but I just think the intensity he plays with and just the type of striker he is. Not to replace Toklamati, but I mean, can you imagine having somebody like a Bouanga and Toklamati?
Oh my gosh!
And then
Bouanga, yeah.
I mean, like if we're gonna dream, like
that player, yeah, he is honestly a fan. I mean, one of the best in the MLS. Absolutely. I mean, I watched the MLS All-Star game. I don't know if you guys did or not, but boy, he cooked those defenders on that one. And I mean, he's done it for both teams he's played for so far in the MLS. So yeah, I think that would be a great type player. I couldn't agree more. Like a number 8 or even more of a number 6, something like that. I do believe our midfield needs a little bit of a rejuvenation. Not to say the players we have there aren't quality and good, but I think they are just that. And obviously getting older, right? They're not getting any younger. So I think, somebody that can box to box. I do prefer maybe more of the defensive minded that can go ahead and turn it into offense, right? So maybe a little bit more of a 6 than an 8, but either way, right? Eriksen was a great name, by the way. I don't have a necessary name on my brain that I'm thinking of, but that position, I think we can all agree is something that, again, we're good enough. Like we're bang average at it, right? If we can find somebody in there that just is quality, I think that changes the team that much more. Get the ball out so much quicker and let Zaha have 8-10 yards of space versus 2 or 3 yards of space and see what happens on the field, right? He's going to be cooking everybody. So
I think that's a little bit what worries me about Inter Miami now. They got Rodrigo Toffolo in.
Yeah.
And that dude he just runs the midfield.
Yeah, he's an amazing
player.
That's the type of
player I'd like to see.
Yeah.
I don't know how Inter Miami does it, but he scares me more than maybe not Messi, but certainly.
Well, I know what you mean, though. He's going to make Messi that much better, and that's exactly what I mean for somebody like Zaha is, yeah, you need that counterpart in the midfield, right? And again, oftentimes when we see Charlotte doing well, it's a lot of times counters, right, where we're moving the ball fast, and when we're not doing so well, it's because our midfield's getting a little bit overran. And so, yeah, we need somebody in there that can just run, and obviously a quality passer and all that. So I think we agree. And then, yeah, I think we all agree that we probably need another striker as well, just if anything for depth. But like I said, I am a Tokomati stan at this point. I will be on his bandwagon. I actually liked the guy, the Archie Goodwin guy. There were rumors on him about 2 or 3 weeks ago. It's been dead since. Obviously, me and my brain, I had to go look him up and kind of start to see who he was. And I'm on board for this guy. I mean, he's like a 20-year-old kid, so still growing. He had like 20 goals last year in the league he's playing, right? I mean, obviously very lower league, but I mean, if you can score goals, then I mean, that is a very difficult quality to possess, and so he obviously has it. So somebody like that, just a lower, I don't call him lower player, that diminishes them. A lesser known player, right? We don't need to go out and break the bank for a striker. Go get one that you can develop and come in behind Tokomati just for depth. But I think we're all in agreement that, hey, a great midfielder would be work wonders for this Charlotte team.
And Charlotte seems to have, like, the one thing I do think Charlotte is able to do is develop some players. I mean, for sure. So let's get in the young guys, and Tokomati's like making his climb, and so let's get in him, and you just need to name drop Eriksson to Goran and see what happens.
Yeah, hey, that was a great, Christian Eriksen. If we saw that in the black and blue, I think we would all, I don't know, that'd be great. But obviously this week was dominated by the Leagues Cup competition, so there's not a lot of MLS scores to report, actually none. So it's really just kind of the Leagues Cup. I'll just run through it really quick, and obviously if you guys have anything to add, feel free. But so far, and now again, keep in mind we're filming this on Wednesday. I took these notes Tuesday, so the matches have, before you guys watch it, right, there's going to be some more matches. So this is really just through 2 match days for everybody. The only undefeated or perfect teams that won both games, Seattle, who scored 7 against Cruz Azul, of all teams, and one of the greatest goals we've ever seen, that volley. Oh my God, I don't know. They got transformed from Man City or something. I don't know. It was crazy that they scored. But yeah, so Seattle 2-0, Portland 2-0, so the Northwest kicking butt over there, and Tigres from the Liga MX is also 2-0. MLS does have an advantage, a slight advantage, 13 wins versus 10 wins for the Liga MX so far. Any rooting interest at all for us moving forward? And if so, who?
Yeah, I'd like to see an MLS East team win anybody other than Inter Miami.
Okay, yeah, I like that, yeah.
And if I had my choice of the ones that I think actually have an opportunity, it would be the team we're playing on Sunday, and that's FC Cincinnati.
Okay.
I like how they built their team. I like to watch Evander. I think he's a lot of fun to watch. And I know they're a rival, but I'd rather the teams that we're around.
I agree 100%. Yeah,
I also definitely think I want an MLS team to win, obviously. East Coast would be nice, East Conference. But I do like Bouanga, so if LAFC has to win, and hey, you never know, maybe they'll make their announcement about, what's his name, Son coming or whatever.
Son coming to the MLS. He was
at the game last night, so.
He signed, he's there, baby.
So
he's there. That's crazy.
See, old news.
Well, no, it just happened. That is huge news, by the way. Yeah, Son coming to the MLS is, between him and Moeller coming last week, it was, woof. That's pretty big stuff.
And not Miami.
Yeah, I think we can all agree, not Miami. This one might surprise you guys, but my rooting interest actually is kind of for a rival of ours, not Miami, but Orlando. I don't like them, right? We don't like them, but I can appreciate them in the way that they play. I've always have, I'm a little jealous, I would almost say. I like the way that they play. I want Charlotte to play a little bit more like that, so I think if they could go out and win that and get a little recognition behind that, that would be okay. Obviously, when they come back and play us, I want us to destroy everything about them. But at the end of the day, this is a different competition, so we'll see. Right? I could see the faces. Y'all see that right there? It was like,
No.
I don't blame you. It's a tough rivalry, but the best segment of the day is the match day preview. What kind of started it all here, right? So you just mentioned them, right? So we got Cincinnati going to Cincinnati rather on Sunday. Cincinnati, of course, sitting in second place. They're at 49 points. Charlotte sitting in seventh with 38 points. You guys probably remember we beat them in the reverse fixture 2-0. That was way back in March. That feels like an eternity ago at this point. 2-0 victory, tidy game. Both goals were scored right at the start of the second half. Remember early in the season when we couldn't do anything in the first half, and then second half kind of been all season really, if you think about it. But yeah, that was the same way in that game. Abada got a breakaway goal in which, I mean, he literally took it from half field and scored. And Agyemang also scored in that game. Really good pass from Malanda up to Biel. Of course, Biel makes the pass to Agy, who finished with the left in that one. I did make that note. Yeah, both goals scored in fast break, so I think that's going to be important kind of in this preview piece. Cincinnati's hot, guys. Obviously, they're in second place, so it's not like they were ever cold, but they've won 6 out of 7. Charlotte, of course, has won 4 in a row, not counting the Leagues Cup, right? This is 4 in a row MLS games. Cincinnati, you had mentioned the name. They have the MVP frontrunner right now in Evander. I think most people agree him and Messi right up there, 1A, 1B. Biel could have been there at 1C had he not gotten injured, but different story, different day. This guy's great. Evander is great. A 27-year-old attacking midfielder, plays the same exact position Biel kind of plays for us on that team. He will rip it from anywhere. That's the note I took. I mean, I watched a few of their game highlights last night, kind of study it. This guy, he'll rip it from 35 yards, and it's not like he's just, let's see where this goes. I mean, he's damn near scoring or is, right? He can absolutely hit it. They're a very balanced team. That's what I kind of deducted. They don't do anything great. They don't do anything poor, right? They don't beat themselves is really what it comes down to. They're 8th in goals scored. They're 5th in goals against. So, top 10 right there in both of those. 2nd most clean sheets in the MLS. Again, you look at everything that they do, and it's not like, oh, they're a really good passing team, really accurate. Or they're really good at the long balls, or they're just mid-pack in most of these stats. I was looking for some that I could find to really give you guys, but there's not much. They're right in the middle of everything. They are just solid, like you said. They're a very well-built team. They do not make mistakes. And then they just kind of rely on Evander for the magic on the offensive side, which is plenty good. Obviously, he's got the 23 goal contributions on the season. How does Charlotte win this game, right? Well, we already won the reverse fixture, and in that game, again, it was fast breaks. I think we even talked about it a little bit when we were talking about how we change play styles. I think this is a game where we do need to sit in a bit. I'm not saying we need to be boring, but I think a little bit of pragmatic boring is okay for Charlotte in this game. I think that would actually be good. The note I actually wrote out, don't bite off more than you can chew. We're not going to go replace Pep Biel. Williamson's not going to come in there and be Pep Biel, so don't try to be Pep Biel. Be Eric Williamson, just be the best version of Eric Williamson, right? I think this is just a game about not making mistakes. We still have the quality on the field that can compete with this team and beat this team. We've already done it. So it's what we cannot have happen is those back passes that get stolen and then they're going down the field, stuff like that, right? Or getting beat at a near post with Kalina, stuff like that. The other note that I have, 4 eyes and 4 charging feet on Evander at all times, right? I mean, you got to take him away as much as you can, right? I mean, just get the ball out of his feet as quickly as possible. And then I had an A+ performance from Malanda Ream, and I put Gianni in question mark. We don't know that he'll start, but I kind of think he will be that pivot, like you had mentioned, that defensive role pivot there. I think that triangle right there in the middle of the field is going to be the most important piece for us. Not letting them in, getting all the clearances, and then Malanda and Ream really leading the break with those long passes up to Vargas or up to Zaha or up to Tokolamati, almost bypassing the midfield as much as they can, and just getting those fast breaks. Those are the way we scored those goals against against Cincinnati in week 4. Let's try to do it again. What do you guys say? Any predictions there? Thoughts?
Okay, my prediction, I do think we're going to win. although I think it's going to be difficult. I think we'll see Deani and Williamson both start on Sunday because we don't have
Didn't make that.
Westwood.
No, yeah, Westwood is out, by the way. I should have
So,
mentioned that. Yellow card accumulation.
And I think maybe we'll put Brant to just be like, wherever Evander goes, just like run with it.
Yeah.
Like just get under it, be the Energizer Bunny you are, run your 7 miles,
Yeah.
and just stay on them like an annoying gnat. You
Yeah.
know? I'm going 2-1,
Okay.
and I'm going to go with a Zaha goal and Eric Williamson goal.
Oh, okay. Hey, that'd be good. I like that. 2-1 Charlotte from Amy. What about you, Brian?
So I think this was a tough one to predict. There's no, it's not a surprise that we're not a very good road team, but we have played well in Cincinnati over the years.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I think we're gonna have a chance. Westwood's gonna be out. Biel's gonna be out. So our midfield's gonna be depleted. And don't forget, Milanda's been hurt. He hasn't played for the
True.
Leagues Cup. So hopefully he'll be
Thinking
back.
he'll play, I hope.
Yeah. Byrne will hopefully be back. So the other thing is that Cincinnati has a real chance to advance in the Leagues Cup. So I'm thinking they're going to play their starters tomorrow night.
Good. Be good
And
for
we're
us.
probably going to rest our starters primarily.
Yeah.
They'll get some time, but not a full game. So maybe we'll be a little bit fresher than they would. But taking all that into account, I think it's going to be a draw.
Okay.
I'd be happy with a draw.
I would too.
I'm going to go 1-1.
Okay.
And I got Vargas continuing his hot streak.
Love that. Let's see the back flip. Yeah, I great analysis, by the way. I agree with all of that. It's okay. But yeah, I was very close. We were all kind of, it's going to be a nitpick game, right? I mean, there's not going to be a lot to decide it. I have it a nice, tidy 1-0 victory for Charlotte. I don't know that I've predicted that one too much this year, but I think this is a type game that can happen. The neutrals will call it boring, but I won't. I think this is just a game where we do need to be a little bit pragmatic. We need to stay on the ball as much as we can and not make those mistakes. Again, long balls down the field, try to get it. I got Zaha scoring for us in this one. I think this is a game where you see a player like Biel go out. Obviously, we're going to be without our captain, Ashley Westwood. Zaha, we signed you for a reason. This is the reason. This game, these type games, right? So go ahead, go make your play, get that goal, get us 3 points. That's all I have. Do we have anything else that we missed on this? No? Good? Awesome. Well, yeah, I really do appreciate you guys jumping on and joining in for us this week. I'm sure more to come right on that. But that's all we have for this week. As always, for the crown.